Well, greetings everybody. How are all you beautiful people doing today? This article comes from the Mind Unleashed. The world is now $217 trillion in debt, and the global elite like it that way. This came out on July 1st by Michael Seinkler. Did I say it right? Snyder, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses. The borrower is the servant of the lender, and through the mechanism of government debt, virtually the entire planet has become servants of the global money changers. Politicians love to borrow money, but over time, government debt slowly but surely impoverishes a nation. As the elite get governments around the globe in increasing amounts of debt, those governments must raise taxes in order to keep servicing those debts. In the end, it is all about taking money from us and transferring it into government pockets, and then taking money from the government pockets and transferring it into the hands of the elites. It is a game that has been going on for generations, and it is time for humanity to say enough is enough. According to the Institute of International Finance, global debt has now reached a new all-time record high of $217 trillion. Global debt levels have surged to a record $217 trillion in the first quarter of the year. This is a 327% of the world's annual economic output, GDP, reports the Institute of International Finance. The surging debt was driven by emerging economies, which has increased borrowing by $3 trillion to $56 trillion. This amounts to 218% of their combined economic output, 5 percentage points greater year on year. Never before in human history has our world been so saturated with debt. And what all this debt does is that it funnels wealth to the very top of the global wealth pyramid. In other words, it makes global wealth inequality far worse, because this system is designed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Terrible. Every year the gap between the wealthy and the poor grows, and it has gotten to the point that 8 men have as much wealth as the poorest 3.6 billion on this planet combined. I'm not sure who these 8 men are, but I'll find out. I know a few of them. Okay, 8 men own the same wealth as the 3.6 billion people who make up the poorest half of humanity, according to the new report published by Oxfam today to mark the annual meeting of political and business leaders of Davos. This did not happen by accident. Sadly, most people don't even understand that this is literally what our system was designed to do. Today, more than 99% of the population of the planet lives in a country that has a central bank. And debt-based central banking is designed to get national governments trapped in endless debt spirals from which they could never possibly escape. For example, just consider the Federal Reserve. During the 4 decades before the Federal Reserve was created, our country enjoyed the best period of economic growth in history. But since the Fed was established in 1913, the value of the U.S. dollar has fallen by approximately 98%, and the size of our national debt has gotten more than 5,000 times larger. It isn't an accident that we are $20 trillion in debt. The truth is that the debt-based Federal Reserve is doing exactly what it was originally designed to do. And no matter what politicians will tell you, we will never have a permanent solution to our debt problem until we get rid of the Federal Reserve. Amen to that. In 2017, interest on the national debt will be nearly $500 billion. Oh, just the interest? Wow. Huh. Damn. Guess who pays that? Taxpayers. Oh boy, that means that close to $500 billion of our tax dollars will go out the door before our government spends a single penny on the military, on roads, on health care, or on anything else. And we continue to pile up debt at a rate of more than $100 million an hour. That's a lot, you guys. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the federal government will add more than $1 trillion to the national debt once again in 2018. Boy. We got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Seriously. Go back to gold standard. Unless current laws are changed, federal individual income tax collections, income tax collections will increase by 9.5% in fiscal 2018, which begins on October 1st, according to the data released today by the Congressional Budget Office. At the same time, however, the federal debt will increase by more than $1 trillion. We shouldn't be doing this, but we just can't seem to stop. So let me try to put this into perspective. If you could somehow borrow $1 million today and obligate your children to pay it off for you, would you? Maybe if you really hate your children you would, but most loving parents would never do such a thing. But that is precisely what we are doing on a national level. Thomas Jefferson was strongly against government debt because he believed that it was a way for one generation to steal from another generation. And he actually wished that he could have added another amendment to the U.S. Constitution which would have banned government borrowing. I wish it were possible to obtain a single amendment to our Constitution. I would be willing to depend on that alone for the reduction of the administration of our government to the genuine principles of the Constitution. I mean, an additional article taking from the federal government the power of borrowing. And the really big secret that none of us are supposed to know is that governments don't actually have to borrow money. Oh my God. I'll read that again. And the really big secret that none of us are supposed to know is that governments don't actually have to borrow money. Okay, yeah, because they're stealing from us. Anyways, but if we start saying that too loudly, the people that are making trillions of dollars from the current system are going to get very, very upset with us. Well, I don't care. I'll say it again. Governments don't actually have to borrow money. Let them get upset at me. Alright. Today we are living in the terminal phase of the biggest debt bubble in the history of the planet. Every debt bubble eventually ends tragically, and this one will too. Bill Gross recently noted that our highly levered financial system is like a truckload of nitroglycerin on a bumpy road. One wrong move and the whole thing blow sky high. When everything comes crashing down and a great crisis happens, we are going to have a choice. We're going to have a choice. We could try to rebuild the fundamentally flawed old system, or we could scrap it and start over with something much better. My hope is that we will finally learn our lesson and discard the debt-based central banking model for good. Hold on. Yeah. That's my hope too, right there. The reason why I'm writing about this so much ahead of time is so that people will actually understand why the coming crisis is happening as it unfolds. If we can get everyone to understand how we are being systematically robbed and cheated, perhaps people will finally get mad enough to do something about it. Oh, I guess that's it. Okay. So let's start getting mad. Alright? Enough's enough of this bullshit. We need to get rid of the Federal Reserve, and that's the only solution. Alright, everybody. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have a wonderful... Nope, not done with the video yet. I found the world's 8 richest people are, in order of net worth. Number 1, Bill Gates. Net worth $75 billion. Amancio Ortega, Spanish founder of Inditex, which owns the Zara fashion chain, net worth $67 billion. Warren Buffett, American CEO and largest shareholder in Berkshire Hathaway, net worth $60.8 billion. Carlos Slim Helú, Mexican owner of Grupo Carso, net worth $50 billion. 5. Jeff Bezos, American founder, chairman, and chief executive of Amazon. Don't shop there anymore. Jeff doesn't need anybody's money. Screw Amazon. They also give out personal information. Okay, net worth $45.2 billion. Now check this out. Number 6. Look at it. Look at number 6. Loud and clear. Mark Zuckerberg. Yep. He's in the top 8 richest people in the world. Anyways, American chairman, chief executive officer, and co-founder of Facebook. Net worth $44.6 billion. Okay, I know he's co-founder of Facebook, but American chairman? What's the American chairman of? And who is he chief executive officer of? Himself. Okay. Number 7. I still can't get past number 6. I'm serious. Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, number 7, Larry Ellison, American co-founder. They're all American. Oh, no, there's a couple Mexican here. There's one. Most of them are American. Go figure that. Okay, so Larry Ellison, $43 billion. Michael Bloomberg, American founder, owner of, and CEO of Bloomberg LP, net worth $40 billion. Okay, there you go. There's your 8 richest people in the world. And, okay, now I will end this here. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Until next time, peace. Good day.